Hello, Alexkazam here. Now there's something you can use at a children's party that is cheap, relatively safe and lots of fun to play with. Yes, balloons. Now there's lots of games you can play with balloons, the advantage being that if you hit someone on the head with a balloon it usually doesn't hurt or injure anyone, and also if they bounce off walls they don't do you any damage. Clearly, if you've got a play area with balloons, you want to make sure there's no fragile ornaments or sharp edges around. Anyway, here's some games with balloons you can use at your next children's party. Balloons make ideal objects for relay races. Now, obviously for relay races you need a certain amount of space, especially if there's running involved, but there doesn't have to be running involved if you're using balloons. Now, one of the ways you can use a balloon in a relay race is each team has a balloon in front of them and they have to pass it from one person at the front to the person at the back, but each person must pass it over and then under. So the first person will pass it over their head and the second person must pass it underneath their legs, and so on. The next person will pass it over and then the person at the back will then run to the front of the team. This is then repeated until the whole team has completed the task. Now this basic format can be creatively adapted to make a whole host of different games. Another very simple but very effective balloon game is something I would call Up, Up and Away, where either teams or individual children have to keep the balloon in the air for as long as possible. They're not allowed to use their hands or legs, but must just use their head to bounce the balloon in the air. Now, it's a very good idea, if you're having lots of children doing this game, to have a few ground rules so there's no bashing of heads or injuries. But this very simple format, again, can be adapted if you're running Up, Up and Away as a game for lots of children. There's a way of overcoming the problem with lots of children running around, and that's to run it as a relay race. So each person in the front of the team then has to keep the balloon in the air the longest. Of course, the team that finishes last in this case will be the winners. Well, there you are. There's a few games with balloons I hope will help you at your next party.